I think we could probably call this video, which is just going to be a hodgepodge of articles I've seen in the last couple of days and stuff, or of the last couple of weeks. And I think we could say that things are really getting more and more batshit every day. First thing I saw this morning was looking at this, and I just laughed my ass off. It says here, the Proud Boys leader was prolific informer for law enforcement. These people, these far-right nitwits, can't even get it together, because as many of them that are true believers, you got others that are undercutting. It's like Parler, and Parler is supposed to be funded by the Mercers, and they have all these billions of dollars and stuff. And then to find out, well, you have to give them all this personal information that makes it easy for law enforcement to crack down. So this is funny. They don't even know who their friends are. These far right people, they have no idea who their friends are. So yeah, he was an informer, and of course, several of these Proud Boys nitwits got arrested. So he's tainted in their eyes now. And this is Enrique Tarrio, I guess is how it's pronounced. You know how I am. I mangle everything I touch. And then, of course, yesterday they had the big story there was that Rand Paul, he with the weird-looking hair, called impeachment dead on arrival because Republicans signaled that the trial is unconstitutional. Well, it's still going to happen. Of course, the trial is not unconstitutional. They're grandstanding for their dwindling base. That's what this is about. That's all it's about. It's about pandering. But yeah, go ahead and have that trial, and let's find out who the hell was involved in all that stuff. And then, of course, we know some of them are outright traitors and have no business being in political office at all. And yeah, and I don't, you know what, these people that are way out there off their rocker on the right, and they're becoming more and more mainstream Republicans. Yeah, they don't think the political opposition should even exist. Why do you think there was those nooses and crap there at the Capitol riot or insurrection? Why do you think there were at least a couple of them there? It wasn't a symbolic thing we should lynch blacks, though some people are misinterpreting that. No, they were out to round up and kill elected officials, no matter what racial background they were, if they were Democrats, or if they were Vice President Pence and other Republicans. These fascists or these extremists, these terrorists, thought weren't towing the party line, their party line. They're very extremist. So she's unfit. This woman is unfit. But there are a bunch of them that are that way. I mean, I could rattle off other names, but she's clearly one of them. And then, let's see, and then this thing, I came across this, and this is, again, I wonder how old the writers are of this article. I'm guessing they're millennials, or at the very least, Generation X people, because this stuff has not been going on since the 1980s. It's been going on since the 50s. Hell, it's been going on since probably the beginnings of the United States of America. But the roots of it, of the modern times, is in the 50s. With the U.S. Supreme Court's Brown versus Board of Education. And it got more and more and more that way. I don't think they once mentioned Nixon's Southern strategy. But the mess we have now is an end result of the Nixon's Southern strategy. And it's wrecked the Republican Party. I'm old enough to remember when it was not like that. That it was almost as big a tent as the Democratic Party. And in fact, it might have even been a bigger tent. But what happened was the Dixiecrats that used to be in the Democratic Party, they switched sides thanks to civil rights laws in the 1960s. And then, of course, they merged with the religious right, which didn't really become a thing until the late 70s, and with the moral majority, and we know all about that. And that was, at bottom, that was about race too. But it's not all about race. And these authors tend to think it's all about blacks. Well, no, racism isn't just limited to black people. There's a lot of it against Latinos. There's a lot of it against Native Americans. There's a lot of it against Asians. I mean, anybody that's not what used to be called a WASP, a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, was the other. But of course, it isn't just white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. It's males. And I've already harped on that. But this article completely glosses over the white male aspect. And they only want to go back to the 1980s. And I've talked about it. I don't need to really go rehash all this again. But where's that photograph? And they misinterpret what that is. They think it's all about, and I don't know if this thing here. And there was more than one of those. But look what it says here. The right's dehumanization of Democrats has been fueled by racism and racial resentment and has led to darker, more violent behavior. That is not about lynching there of blacks. This is about murder of public officials here. They were out to kidnap and kill. And it didn't matter what race they were, as long as they were Democrats. Or traitorous Republicans. So that is not what that was about. So I don't like it when things are deliberately misinterpreted. And it isn't all about racism, and it isn't, I mean, there's anti-Semitism in there. There's all kinds of hatred. It's not just leveled against African Americans. So this article is very myopic that way. But anyway, that's all I have to say about that, on that note. And then, stupidity isn't just on the right, but there's insanity on the left and there's insanity on the right. But the insanity on the right, those insane people are heavily armed, and that's the difference. The left, they're not. They can bully like they do, because they're authoritarian. As we know, they could be authoritarian as well as the right wing can be authoritarian. But the right wing is heavily armed. And that's why they're a lot more dangerous. But I'll just note this, that Biden kind of screwed up. I mean, he can't do everything right, but he's under pressure from the transgender lobby. And so he moved to end this. I'm not sure it's as wide-ranging as this site claims it is. I was kind of a bit skeptical. But if this is the case that he's trying to subvert it, because Obama tried that crap, and completely distorted Title IX. And I doubt Biden even knew what the hell he was signing. Quite honestly, I don't know who drafted it, but I'm sure he didn't write that. I'm sure some lobbyist wrote that, and he didn't know what the hell he was signing. So, this site, and I'll put the link in, that you can take action and write or fill out a form and demanding the repeal of that executive order, because that was just stupid. He has no clue what the hell the ramifications are for women. So that's that. But there's all kinds of damn insanity going on in D.C. And I can hardly wait until the impeachment trial. I'm getting to where it's kind of exciting. Because now they'll probably, as much as the Republicans don't want it, most of these Republicans don't want the facts to come out. It's going to come out anyway, whether or not they take sanctions. But the Democrats could use it as a bludgeon, or to bludgeon, as a baseball bat to bludgeon the Republicans in the 2022 elections. So anyway, there's lots of nonsense going on, and I thought I'd comment on it.